Shalom. Welcome to the third installment of the flipped classrooms, and today we're going to be discussing 10 interesting laws of Chanukah. Now, just as an introduction, we're going to be doing it like we did the second one, where we have laws of Chanukah, and we're going through each law, and then I would like you to pause it and answer the question that you have at the bottom of the sheet. Okay, so we're going to go through slowly, going through all 10 halachos. Now, a lot of times that you have the laws of Chanukah, they intertwine with the laws of Hallel. So the first 7 laws, although they're going to seem like they don't have much to do with Chanukah because they're all about Hallel, they actually do, because Hallel and Chanukah are together in the fact that Chanukah is supposed to be showing praise and thanks to Hashem, and that's what Hallel is all about, showing praise and thanks to Hashem. Okay, so let's look at the first halacha. B'chol yom vayom mishmonas hayamim ha'elu gorim es ha'Hallel. Okay, so on all 8 days of Chanukah, we say the complete Hallel. And we say a bracha beforehand. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam. Right, these are acronyms. Asher kedeshanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu uligmor es ha'Hallel. That's the bracha that we make. Some of us make the bracha of likro es ha'Hallel, depending on one's custom. Ben yachad ben b'tzibur. It doesn't make a difference if you're saying Hallel by yourself or with a minyan. You say a bracha beforehand. Afal pi shekrias ha'Hallel mitzvah midivrei sofrim. Even though Hallel is a mitzvah, a rabbinic mitzvah. Mevarach aleh asher kedeshanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu kederach shemevarach al Megillah. So you might think that we can only make a bracha on Megillah, on something that's from the Torah, because the bracha says in it, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu, that you commanded us to do the following. Now Hashem never really commanded us to do a rabbinic command. They come from the rabbis, and since Hallel is a rabbinic command, you might think that you shouldn't make a bracha on it. But we do make a bracha on it, and the logic is, this the Rambam doesn't say, but the logic is, this is straight from a Gemara, that any time that the rabbis commanded us to do a mitzvah, really their authority to command us to do a mitzvah comes from the Torah itself. And therefore, we make a bracha. Hashem might not have commanded us to say Hallel, or light Chanukah candles, or read the Megillah, but Hashem commanded us to listen to the rabbis, who did command us to do those things. And therefore, we do go ahead and make a bracha. Okay, pause here and answer the first question. Okay, going on to the second halacha. Makomo she'osin yomim tovim shnei yomim. Gorim es ha'Hallel b'echad v'esrim yom. Here, outside of Israel, where we have 2 days of Pesach, and 2 days of Sukkot, and 2 days of Shavuot. So here, we say Hallel 21 days out of the year. B'tisha yemei Chag, on the 9 days of Sukkot, Shmonas yemei Chanukah, on the 8 days of Chanukah, Shnei yomim shel Pesach, on the first 2 days of Pesach, Shnei yomim shel Atzeres. Okay, and on the 2 days of Shavuos. Now, Aval b'Rosh Chodashim. Right, now you might say, hold on a second, what about all the other days that we say Hallel? What about on Rosh Chodesh we say Hallel, on the other days of Pesach we say Hallel? So what about all those days? How come they're not in the count of 21? Really, we should have many more days that we say Hallel. So the Rambam says, Aval Rosh Chodashim kriyas Hallel minog ve'ena mitzvah. So on those days we do say Hallel, and we say we're going to call it a half Hallel, but we say the same Hallel essentially. But those days Hallel isn't a halacha that we have to say; rather, it became a custom. It was a minhag. The difference is that on Rosh Chodesh, it wasn't that our rabbis told us, "Hey, go ahead and say Hallel." Rather, what happened was people started saying Hallel on Rosh Chodesh in order to capture the uniqueness of the day and show it's unique. They started to say Hallel as a custom. And the rabbis saw that and they said, hey, that's a good custom. Everybody should have that custom. And therefore, in order to show that it's just a custom, so we're going to say what's called a half Hallel and not the full Hallel. Okay, so what does that mean, a full Hallel and half Hallel? That's what we're going to see in the third halacha. Stop here and answer the second question. Okay, going on to the third question here, or third halacha I should say. Ketzah medalgin. What does this mean that we have a half Hallel, that we skip around Hallel? Medaleg means to skip. So matchilin mitchilas ha'Hallel ad chalamish l'man yumayim. So we start Hallel regular, and we go until the words chalamish l'man yumayim, and then we skip v'doleg v'omer. We skip that next paragraph, and we say Hashem zecharanu yivarech. Okay, ad Hallelujah. Okay, and so we say that until the word Hallelujah, umedaleg, and then we skip. V'omer, we say Ma'ashiv Hashem ad Hallelujah, right? We say the Ma'ashiv until Hallelujah, and then Umedaleg, and then we skip, and we say Min HaMeitzah Krasiya ad Sof Hallel. Then we say that until the end of Hallel. Okay, that's called a skip halal. If you look in half halal, excuse me, if you look in your siddur, so the siddur usually says on Rosh Chodesh or on this day we skip the halal and we skip to the next paragraph. Okay, we'll stop here, answer the third question, and we'll go on to the fourth question. Okay, now we are on the fourth source here, the fourth halacha, and this source is going to be a source of debate between the Rambam and the Ravid, and today it's a debate between Ashkenazim and Sfardim. So let's see how these two things play out. The Rambam says, "Ve'ein mevarchen alav she'ein mevarchen ala minhag." The Rambam says that we don't make a bracha on a halal that we skip. So again, this isn't applicable to Chanukah because Chanukah we don't skip. We don't have a half halal. We have a full halal. We don't skip anything. Okay, but when it comes to Rosh Chodesh or when it comes to the last days of Pesach, where we're saying a quote-unquote half halal, where we're skipping around, so there we say that we don't make a bracha on that halal because that halal is only a minhag, and we don't make a bracha on a minhag, right? Why not? What's the logic to not saying a bracha on a minhag, right? So there, the Rambam says that the idea is that we can't say the words vitzivanu. We were commanded on a custom, because a custom by definition we weren't commanded to do. So therefore, we don't say a bracha on it. Okay. So, the Rambam says, "Kol davar shu minhag." Sorry, this is source number 4. We don't make a bracha on it because we don't make a bracha on a minhag. V'chein b'shar yemei Pesach korim b'dilug k'rosh chadashim. Just like on the days 3 through 8 of Pesach, we also only say a half halal, and we also don't make a bracha on it because it's just a minhag. Let's stop here and answer the fourth question, and then we'll go on to the fifth halacha. Okay, we're on the fifth halacha, which actually comes from Hilchos Brachos, right? Even though we did Brachos last time, this is going to see this theory as a sort of repetition, but here's where we're going to find, in the next source, the argument of the Ravid. The Rambam says as follows, Kol davar shu minhag kegon kriyas halal b'rosh chadashim u'v'chol shel moed shei Pesach ein mevarchen alav. Anything that's a minhag, like halal on Rosh Chodesh or on Chol Moed, we don't make a bracha on. Again, repeating what we said last time, the idea that we don't make a bracha on it is because we don't make a bracha on a minhag. Again, this is the Rambam's opinion. We're going to see that there are those that disagree, and today Ashkenazic practice is not like this. But we don't make a bracha on a minhag because we can't say the words Asher Kedeshanu b'mitzvos v'tzivanu, that we were commanded to do the following. So therefore, on halal, when halal is a minhag like Rosh Chodesh and Chol Moed, when we skip halal, so therefore we don't make a bracha on it. Stop here. Answer the fifth question. And let's get back to source number 6. Okay, source number 6 is not the Rambam, it's the Ravid, okay, who was also a great rabbi, who was arguing on the Rambam. And this is what he says to argue on the Rambam. Nearly, the Ravid says, it seems to me, that we don't make a bracha on halal only refers to Chol Moed Pesach. Aval shel Rosh Chodesh, but on Rosh Chodesh, bebracha tiknuhu, they did make a bracha on halal Rosh Chodesh. Meaning, who's the they? The rabbis, when they said you should say halal Rosh Chodesh, they said you should say it with a bracha. Why? Kedei lefarsimo shu Rosh Chodesh, in order to publicize the fact that it's Rosh Chodesh, right? So he says that in order to publicize the fact that it's Rosh Chodesh, what did they do? They said a bracha on halal on Rosh Chodesh, so everybody would know. Well, why are we saying a bracha on halal? What's the idea? Oh, it's Rosh Chodesh, and now everybody knew that it was Rosh Chodesh. Okay, so he says, "V'anu an hour minhagenu levarach b'kulan." And our bracha, our minhag is to make a bracha on all the halals. Okay, that actually is the Ashkenazic custom today, is to make a bracha even on the halals when we skip halal, when we skip around in halal, when we say the half halal. Aval kriyas halal b'yamim hamegudashim v'korban musaf behem im tiknu behen halal mishum heker lekidushasan. So the Ravid says, but on other days where we daven musaf and there was a special korban, so on those days we for sure say halal with a bracha, right? And he's referring to the last days of Pesach, because those days we have to show that those days are kadosh, that they're special, they're unique days, and in order to show that they're unique days, we do that by making a bracha. Okay, we'll stop here, and we're going to go on to answer question number 6 on source number 6, and we'll go on to source number 7 in the next video.